Hi, this is Brenda Lilly, and I'm going to go over my lesson plans with you. I have 4 lessons, and they deal with Christmas traditions. And my first lesson is about comparing and contrasting using the Venn diagram and then writing a paragraph. And I'll get into that in a little bit more detail. And then the second lesson that I have is focused on the poem "'Twas the Night Before Christmas," and students are going to work on paraphrasing and breaking down each stanza, while we also talk about Christmas traditions as we work on that poem. And then the third lesson that I have has to do with making a greeting card, a Christmas card, but the card is an e-card, so the students are going to record their voices with a message to someone significant to them, showing gratitude. So that's the third part of the unit. And then the last component is a fun activity where students are going to decorate Christmas cookies, which is a tradition, but then we're going to tie it to heritage and culture. And one of the cookies needs to represent or symbolize their heritage. And then they also can do another cookie just for fun, and then if they have time, more cookies. So those are the 4 components. So the first thing I have here is a visual of the Venn diagram, and so in the center here obviously would be the things that they find in common between an American Christmas and a Christmas that they have experienced in the country that they used to live in. And this is just creating a foundation for them to have information to use to write their paragraph. I am going to show some images on the board just to get them thinking about an American Christmas and talking about my own American Christmas and what that includes, including food and decorations and family and what kind of activities that you would do. And then after we've created our Venn diagram, I have a paragraph starter just to make sure that we're starting with a topic sentence. So they can choose one of these depending on their angle, or they can come up with their own, but I would review the elements of a paragraph just to make sure, the components, just to make sure that they're getting all of those. My students' weakness is writing and organization. And then the second day I talked about that we're reading this book. It's a book, but it's really just a poem, and it's The Night Before Christmas. It's a very nicely illustrated book, and I would read it to them just like you would with a small child. Read The Night Before Christmas in that way might be kind of fun. I'm not sure, maybe sitting on the floor or something like that. And just let them kind of enjoy the sound of it and the pictures and following along. But then I would break it down, and this is my modified document. I found these illustrations, and then what they have done is broken it down into smaller chunks. It's not always just a stanza. You can see there's 2 stanzas, but I highlighted the words that might be difficult, and then I wrote a simpler version of those words so that when they're working on this on their own and they have to paraphrase each stanza with one sentence, some of those words won't be an obstacle for them. So underneath each of these stanzas, they are going to write one sentence that paraphrases the main idea or what event happens in that stanza. So you can see it goes through the whole book, but it breaks it down into smaller chunks. And the paraphrasing and the reading of these would be pair work. And then when they're done with that, now we've kind of had a closer read of the poem, then we would watch the video. It's an animated video. It's only about four minutes long, which they can see the poem acted out. It's kind of a fun cartoon. My students are 5th and 8th grade, and my 8th grader was from an orphanage, so he very much appreciates and enjoys cartoons and things that might be a little bit developmentally younger for him, but he seems to really engage with those. So it is appropriate for the kids I'm working with. And then as a closed activity at the end, there are questions for each stanza, but because writing is my students' weakness, I did make a word bank for them to choose from, but they would need to refer to each stanza to remember what would need to go for what would need to be put down for each stanza's answer. And then the next lesson is greeting cards, and I found this cool website where you can make your own e-card and you can record your own message, and the message can be 30 seconds long. So I right below here, I'm talking to students about gratitude and reflecting. And so we, at the end of the year, part of the Christmas season is being grateful and reflecting on the year. And so I'm having students determine things that they're proud of or things that they went through this year and who helped them and who they might be grateful to and appreciate and show some gratitude to. And so they can list several things on the left and several people on the right, and then choose someone to write their card to. And we're going to write out what we're going to say so that we can rehearse it before we record it. And I would give them my example first, and I would make the card first so they could watch me do that with the steps. I'm just going to go back up here really quick. The card, once you press record, it has step 1, step 2, step 3, and as you complete each step, then it goes to the next screen. So it's very easy to follow, and once I show the students, I'm pretty sure they could just do it, but I would model it first for them. And then the last lesson has to do with decorating cookies. I'm planning to actually do this unit right before Christmas break, and I thought that would be a nice thing for the end, but I thought, you know, can't just make Christmas cookies, but it would be a fun kind of team building experience. But also I thought I'll be sure to include all the colors of their country's flags and some items that are like candy pieces and different things that might be able to connect to their culture. And I'm going to have them design one cookie that symbolizes their heritage, and then another cookie that symbolizes American, something to do with American traditional Christmas. So those are the different lessons that I came up with, and as hard as it was, I guess it was a lot easier this time now that I've done it several times. So I will see how this goes in just a couple weeks. Thank you.